the aspect of Concord that we'll be looking at today, after having the rudimentary knowledge and understanding of what Concord is all about, that it is the agreement between the subject of the sentence and the verb element, right? And also, we discussed in the previous session the general principle of Concord. There we had that a singular subject should be followed by a singular verb with illustrations clearly given. And we equally had that a plural subject should be followed by a plural verb. That's well understood. Then we looked at some of the exceptions to these general principles highlighted, that the first person personal pronoun in the subjective case, that is letter I, is although it's singular in meaning, but grammatically treated as plural structurally. Then you, that's the first the second speaker, that's the second person personal pronoun, that is in the singular form, you. Just as we have it that it's either be singular or plural, you is you, and it is treated as plural even when it means singular in a sentence. So that is that. Now we are looking at some of the aspects of Concord. One, we have the proximity Concord, the principle of proximity in Concord. That's one. Then we look at Concord of fraction and percentage. Then we'll look at mandative subjunctive Concord. Mandative subjunctive Concord. Equally, we also discuss Concord in relation to distance, time, and measurement. So, proximity, the principle of proximity, fractional percentage, mandative subjunctive Concord, and Concord of distance, time, and measurement. Then we have double subjects, the principle of double subject in Concord. Equally, we'll look at the principle of subordinated conjunction. The principle of subordinated conjunction. For today, we shall discuss the following 6 comprehensively of the several aspects of Concord. These 6 shall be extensively discussed. Now, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
That's good. So, the principle of proximity states that the principle of proximity states that the subject is introduced by a correlative conjunction. By what? A correlative conjunction. That could be either and or, neither and what? No. It is being introduced by a correlative conjunction in which the nearer subject to the verb controls the verb. Listen carefully. As you have it in your textbook, that it is being introduced by a correlative conjunction in which the nearer subject to the what? To the verb determines the verb or controls the verb. What this implies is that if the nearest subject to the verb is singular, the verb is singular. If the nearest subject to the verb is plural, the verb becomes plural. Let's have our examples. Take for instance, either praise or Lizzie sings melodiously. Melodiously, we have that either praise or Lizzie sings melodiously. In this sentence, the determinant of our verb is Lizzie, because praise is what? Subject 1. Lizzie is what? Subject 2. And the principle of proximity states that the nearest subject to the verb determines the what? The verb. If the nearest subject is singular, the verb becomes singular. If the nearest subject to the verb is plural, the verb is plural. So, for the fact that Lizzie as subject 2 is a singular what? Subject, our verb becomes sing, a singular verb. That's a very simple one. The other way around, you can use the system of detachment for examination purpose. Hello? For what? Examination purpose, you can use the system of detachment. And how do you do that? You say either praise, anything from or becomes grammatically irrelevant. Okay? So what we have there is, so read out from here. What do you have here? Lizzie sings well. So if you detach the sentence after the agent of correlation, you would find your correct answer. If what you have here is plural, our verb will be plural. Let's have another example. Let's say neither Lewandowski nor his teammates are to blame. Are to what? Blame. How do we arrive here? Lewandowski's are what? Subject 1. His teammates, subject what? 2. Which of these two subjects is the nearest to our verb? Subject 2, right? We are concerned with what? Subject 2. Now, let's use the system of detachment. We have it detached from here. What do we have?
His teammates are to blame.
So his teammates, for the fact that they are plural subjects, right? Teammates. Plural what? Plural subject. Then you have the plural verb. Or when you say either the coach or the players plan well for matches. So here you have either the coach or the players plan well for what? Matches. These are subject 1 and the players are what? Subject 2. Then subject 1 is singular, right? And subject 2 is what? Plural. So now that our subject 2 is plural, which is the determinant of the verb, what would our verb be? Plural verb. And that is why, going by the system of detachment, you have the players plan well for matches. I hope it's clear. Any question regarding this? Any? It's clearly understood, right? Then we look at Concord. of fraction and percentage. As for fraction and percentage, the principle is simple. What does the rule state? That whenever a word indicating fraction or percentage is used as part of the as subject of what? Of a sentence, and it is immediately followed by OF of, okay? Then the next thing after that, cut.